On 13 June 2025, Israel launched a big attack on Iran, which started a major war across the Middle East. There was already tension between Iran and Israel, but because there was no early warning of this attack and Iran was not ready to stop Israeli missiles, that's why this attack caused heavy destruction in the country. In this strike, Israel targeted many top Iranian military officers, including Iran's Chief of Staff General Mohammad Bagheri and other IRGC commanders. Not only that, Israel also bombed Iran's oil and gas plants, which caused fires to break out everywhere and thick smoke to rise. According to reports, several public places were also attacked, which led to a large number of civilian deaths. As per the Iranian Ministry of Health, 224 people were killed in this attack and more than 1,000 others were injured. On the same day, Iran responded with a massive attack on Israel, firing a huge wave of missiles and drones that struck Tel Aviv, Haifa, and several other key cities. Loud explosions were heard across the country. Israel used its missile defense system to stop many of the attacks, but some missiles still managed to get through. They fell on hospitals, homes, and military bases, causing many people to die or get injured. These explosions spread fear among the people, and a state of emergency was declared across the entire country. Israel started this war with Iran because Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu said that Iran is very close to making a nuclear weapon, and if Iran is not stopped now, it can soon make a nuclear bomb which can bring destruction to the whole region. According to Israeli Prime Minister, they started this war to stop Iran before it becomes too late, and a nuclear-armed Iran would be a serious threat to the peace and safety of the entire region. And also, according to the UN's nuclear agency, Iran has already got uranium to the 60% level, and if it gets to the 90%, it will be able to make nuclear weapons easily. Netanyahu also said many times in his statements that Iran can make a nuclear bomb in just a few weeks or months. That's why Israel thought it was necessary to take action before it's too late. In this attack, Israel especially targeted the places where Iran's nuclear program was working, and they also claimed that they had killed many Iran's senior nuclear scientists. But some reports say that even after this attack, Israel could not do big damage to Iran's nuclear program, and their nuclear program was still fully active. No matter how long Israel kept fighting, it simply didn't have the kind of weapons or planes that could destroy Iran's underground nuclear sites. Iran had built its nuclear centers so deep underground that only America had the special bombs needed to hit them. One of those bombs is the GBU-57, known as the America's most powerful bunker buster bomb. It goes deep into the ground before exploding and has the ability to destroy whatever is hidden below. But Israel didn't have this bomb or even the aircraft needed to carry and drop it. In simple words, this could only be done with America's help. That's why Israel appealed to the US President Donald Trump to support Israel in this war and help destroy Iran's nuclear program. Now, because Israel also raised concerns, but the danger was not only for Israel but for America too. Iran is often seen speaking against America, so if Iran gets a nuclear weapon, it would become a serious threat for America as well. That's why after several days of discussions and planning, Donald Trump finally gave the order to strike Iran and eliminate its nuclear program. But here a question comes up, that why is Israel only afraid of Iran's nuclear weapon? And an even bigger question is, how did Iran, who once accepted Israel, become its biggest enemy now? Let's find out everything in this video, but if you want to watch such more informative videos, subscribe to our YouTube channel. From 1925 to 41, Iran was ruled by a king, Reza Shah. Reza Shah tried to make Iran stronger, so he started development projects like building railways, opening schools and colleges, setting up hospitals and making army more powerful. At that time, such things were happening for the first time in Iran, which is why people seemed quite satisfied with Reza Shah's efforts. But when the World War II started, the almost whole world stood with Britain. The Iranian king, instead of supporting Britain, announced his support for Hitler, who was enemy of both Britain and the Soviet Union. Seeing Iran's king supporting Germany, Britain and the Soviet Union together attacked Iran, and when the pressure increased, Reza Shah was forced to leave the throne. After he stepped down, the Britain and the Soviet Union made Mohammad Reza Shah the new king of Iran, so that he could rule the country according to their orders. And when Mohammad Reza Shah became the new king of Iran, he started running the country according to wishes of them. He began introducing Western culture in Iran. For example, in a country where Muslim women used to wear hijab everywhere, women started moving around without it and began wearing European-style clothes. In short, just to please America and the Soviet Union, he tried to bring everything into an Islamic country that Islam clearly goes against. And not just that, on the orders of America and the Britain, 2010, Muhammad Reza Shah also accepted Israel, while most Muslim countries at that time had not accepted it and many still haven't. The people of Iran didn't like any of them, so slowly anger started growing inside them, and then they began rebel against the king, and this movement was led by Ayatollah Khomeini. When a large number of Muslims in Iran started following Khomeini, the king realized that no one could stop this huge wave of public anger. So in the end, he left the throne and ran away from the country. After that, Iran's throne came into the hands of Ayatollah Khomeini, and as soon as he took the charge, he changed the country name to the Islamic Republic of Iran. Right after coming to power, he shut down all Western style policies and everything began happening as same as before. And not just that, Khomeini clearly refused to recognize Israel. Here the question comes up that why don't Muslims accept Israel? Israel was made in a place that was called Palestine at that time, where Arab Muslims, Christians and some Jews had been living together for a long time. But in 1948, when the United Nations decided to make a separate country for the Jews in this area, the Muslim leaders rejected this plan. Muslims started saying that Israel is being forcibly made on Muslim land, and that's why we as Muslims cannot accept Israel. And after Israel was created, it started attacking Muslim areas like Palestine, Gaza and Lebanon many times. So according to Muslims, how can we accept a country that keeps doing injustice to our Muslim brothers? That's why many Muslim countries refuse to accept it. And that's why the new leader of Iran, Ayatollah Khomeini, did not stop at words. He also took a real action against Israel. Iran started supporting the groups that were fighting against Israel, especially those present in areas like Palestine and Lebanon. In 1982, when Israel attacked Lebanon and took control, the Muslims there formed a new group called Hezbollah. This group was made up of Muslim fighters created especially to fight against Israel in Lebanon, and you can think of it as a kind of Muslim army formed in a shape of a small group. These groups have been carrying out attacks on Israel, something you must have seen in the news many times. So when the new government refused to accept Israel, they also began to support all those groups that were fighting against it. Iran started giving these groups money, weapons and training so they could become more stronger and continue attacking Israel more effectively. When Iran started supporting those groups that fight against Israel, Israel also began fighting back secretly against Iran. Israel didn't attack Iran directly, but whenever Iran was sending money and weapons to make those fighters stronger, Israel started targeting Iran's people, weapons and camps in those places. Until the start of 2024, everything was just like before. The fight between Iran and Israel was happening indirectly. But then in April 2024, something happened that changed everything and brought Israel into a direct war with Iran. It all began when Israel killed an Iranian general, Mohammad Reza Zahedi, in Syria. He was the one of the key person in Iran who was responsible for managing Hezbollah and other groups. After his death, Iran openly attacked Israel for the first time, and this was the first time Iran officially declared a war against Israel. Iran launched a major attack on Israel, but with the help of its defense system and along the support of UK, Jordan and US, Israel shoot down most of the missiles in the air. Now this fight that used to stay in shadows has come right to the doorstep of an open war. As we already explained, the reason Israel recently attacked Iran because Israel believed that Iran had come very close to making a nuclear weapon. But now the real question is, why was Iran's nuclear program such a big threat to Israel? Around the world, there are many countries that have conflicts and even have nuclear weapons. But still none of them sees each other's weapon as an immediate threat like Israel sees Iran's. Here is the shocking part that Iran's leaders haven't just said once but again and again that Israel should be completely erased from the world map. Look at this report. In 2015, Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Khamenei said Israel will be wiped off the map within the next 25 years. Now this might seem like just a threat if it came from some ordinary country, but this threat came from a country that was not just building any weapon, it was close to building the one weapon that can destroy entire nations. And not just that, Iran's ex-president also said the Zionist regime should be wiped off the map. After hearing these statements, you can clearly understand what Iran actually wants. And this is the reason Israel always feels deeply threatened by Iran, especially its nuclear program. And just like you saw in reports, Iran was getting closer to building the bomb. Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu has said many times if Iran builds the bomb, our existence will be in danger. That's why out of the entire world, the country that feels most threatened by Iran's nuclear program is Israel. But now the question is, if Iran ever succeeds in getting this powerful weapon, will it really drop a nuclear bomb on Israel and destroy it? If you want to know the answer of this question and watch such more informative videos, subscribe to our YouTube channel. See you in the next video.